Welcome to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh, the Note Queen, where we talk about owner financing and notes. Financial solutions, one mom and pop to another.
I had a guy that I bought his property. He came through my website, which is the We Buy Carson. So basically I'm like, it's like, hey, we buy houses, blah, blah, blah. I can sometimes offer you more if you'll carry, but don't have to. You can close cash just like any other, buyer or real estate investor. Anyway, a guy that had come through my site and said, I'm going to sell my house today. I just, I'm diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I have no family, no kids, no friends. I just want to wrap up my affairs. So 2 hours later, I'm in his living room and I said, here's exactly what your house is worth. And if I put 20 or 30 in it, this is what it would be worth. And here's what I'm offering you. And it's lower than probably what someone else would offer you. But the reason I'm asking for this, and it doesn't mean I won't pay more, but here's the reason I'm asking. I said, what's your legacy, John? And he goes, well, I'm just a nobody. I'm anonymous. Nothing matters. I don't have a legacy. That's for people who have kids. And I go, no, John, what's your life been about? And he couldn't articulate it that day. And I go, well, here's the part of the legacy. I want to leave as much as I can in my town. I want to get as many homeowners into homes that are either can't or won't get a loan at the bank, but they're very qualified to be homeowners. I want to turn renters. By the time I'm retiring from my Note Queen career, I want to have created home ownership for as many families as possible in my town. So that's why I'm offering you this price. If you can live with that, great, because then I know I've got this family that has been waiting to get in a home and I know what they can afford. So if you can give your property to me at this price, I can give it to them at that price and everybody wins and I can close in 2 days. I didn't know if I could close in 2 days. Turned out I could, but then I turned around and was able to arrange private financing, long-term private financing for this family. They had a good down payment. And then I think their interest rate 6%. I amortized over 30. So anyway, so I like the note business in context with other things. So I'm closing on a deal this week sometime, I think. Probably it's closing when I'm going to be speaking down south on Friday. Where this is a mobile home in a park, which is its own beast, as many of you would probably know. But a lot of people just can't get together $40,000 to buy all cash, right? So they said, will you carry? And I'm going, yeah, I've been around the block on these mobiles a couple of times. So I said, you've got to be able to come up with 25% down. And if you can put 25% down plus cover all the closing costs, and you can afford $400 a month, which would fully amortize the balance in 10 years, then I will carry for you. And then they were so happy because here's someone who otherwise they can't get into a home. They'll be stuck in renterhood. So I feel good about that. I didn't buy another note. I created my own note. So these days, I would say for most people, it's easier to create your own paper, but it's more work, right? I mean, Brandon, you had to find the house, buy the house, rehab the house, have the relationship for the takeout financing. There's a lot of pieces that came, but he's going to do very, very well. I mean, he's going to create passive income out of nothing. Infinity return. It's going to break the calculator. There's no way it just says error, error, error. Infinity return. So anyway, the thing I wanted to mention about this, it was gratifying just for the thing that was important to John was that he was thinking about it. He goes, what matters to me is that, he says, I could die tomorrow. I don't have that long left. He had this big growth on the side of his neck, even as in all my years of nursing, never seen anything like it. He says, it's slowly strangling me. I can't really eat that much. It's getting hard to swallow. It's going to get hard to breathe here soon. I want to have money in my account soon enough that I can write checks out And I go, well, did you decide what you care about? And he's going, yeah, Humane Society, because his great love of his life was a shelter dog. And they spent 10 years every day hiking 5 to 10 miles in the local hills. And that was his life. Otherwise, he just said, really, I've lived a pretty boring and tedious life. I'd give myself like a C- or a D, but actually that's only a thought. And a lot of my thoughts haven't even turned out to be true. So, I mean, it was, it was really interesting. And I followed him and helped him move into his hospice room, get some of his items over there. And every day he lived another week after I bought his house. And every day I would go visit him, and he was such an inspiration. So like sometimes the least amount of things that you would expect, like it was already good that I got a property, I closed fast, I made a profit, not as much as I could have, but who cares? I made good money putting a family, which is part of the legacy I want to leave, is I put a family in a home, and they were almost in tears with joy over that. And then I was so inspired by this guy and his unique take on life and how positive and practical he was about wrapping up his affairs the last week of his life, that I mean, it put me on this whole trajectory of just like I've been wondering. For me, I've missed patient care. Even I haven't been in patient care for years because I've been doing the Note Queen gig, right? But I've sort of missed aspects of it. So it's like I'm hooked up with this hospice company so that, like, I don't know, a couple, 3 hours a week, I can just go in and just made me realize there's a lot of people that die alone, so to speak. They don't have friends and family, and it's just, I don't know. So the thing, when you're doing things in your local community, and if you can get excited about these kind of things, so now I just want to go step and repeat. I want to actually put a really awesome deal together with all the little tips and tricks that I've gained over the years. And I also want to have really meaningful, powerful, deep, life-changing connections with people. I don't know. I
You've been listening to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh. For more, please visit notequeen.com.
Basically, let's get down to the basics. What is a note? It's a promise to pay, an IOU. I owe you this money, and I'm going to pay it back over these terms. Now, in real estate, and ideally, if you're making a loan, you have a security instrument. That means if you don't keep your promise, you're going to lose the asset. It's secured by an asset that can be retrieved and sold to get the lender out of their